You don't think it should be legal?
No, I don't.
Yeah, I don't think so either. What do you think when you see those pictures?
I think it should be legal.
It should be?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
why is that?
Just because, like, not every woman, like, you know, should have to go through, like, you know, there's always accidents. There's always, like, terms of, if the woman will die, if the baby will die, you know, there's always those conditions.
Sure.
You know? There's always rape, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you think is, when a woman's pregnant, what would you say that is that's inside of her? Would you say it's a human being?
Honestly, I don't think so, but...
Okay. What do you think it is?
I don't have, like, an opinion on that, really.
Okay.
I don't really...
Not sure?
Not really sure, no.
All right. That's okay.
To me, like, honestly, it's not, like, my brother's had children, and, like, I haven't really thought of, like, in my mind, like, oh, that's a baby until the baby is born. Not like that she's not pregnant, like, that's, like, just, like, a clump of cells. I don't think that, but, like, I just don't really think of it being a human until it's born, you know?
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. The scientific evidence is pretty clear that human life begins at fertilization. So when the sperm from the egg sperm from the dad and the egg from the mom come together and unite, we have a new human being at that point. And so, if it is a human being, obviously it's different than you and I, right?
Yeah,
It's smaller, less developed, it's in a different environment, it's dependent upon the mother in ways that we're not dependent upon ours. But do any of those reasons justify killing them?
I don't think abortion's killing. That's
okay.
like, yeah.
What do you think it is? Because, like, it's living, obviously, right? Because it wouldn't be growing if it weren't.
I don't think it's living.
No?
No, it's not living to me.
How is it growing then?
I mean, like, it's just not, I don't know how to, this is picking me off guard. I'm not really good at debating, but I don't know, like, third trimester abortions, like, I'm not for that, like, or maybe second, I don't really know, but, I don't think it's a person until, like, maybe third, late second, so, I don't know.
So what, you would say that it's a human, but it's not a person?
I don't know.
Don't know. Okay.
No,
What changes, like, later on in pregnancy that makes it wrong for someone to have an abortion?
It's just, like, I don't know, because this is hard. I don't know, because, like, it's, like, this, it's, like, the size of, like, a normal baby. I don't know. It's just, like, it's fully developed at, like, later on, it's fully a child. I don't really know.
Okay. So why does, like, development or size matter when it comes to our value? Like, it's obviously wrong for us. I have a 10-month-old at home. He's much smaller than my 3-year-old, and he's much less developed than my 3-year-old, right?
Yeah.
But it would be wrong for me to go home and kill my 10-month-old just because he's smaller and less developed, right? So what's the difference between when they're inside of the womb and when they're outside, or between the second trimester and the third trimester? Why is it okay for us to kill them based on those factors when we wouldn't do it with other people?
Because, I mean, usually women don't know they're pregnant until, like, you know, maybe 6 to 8 weeks, right? And it's hard to, like, say, like, and some people are later, right? I mean, some people have their period, like, their whole pregnancy is, and, you know, they have a baby all of a sudden and they don't know they're pregnant. But I'm not saying, like, they have to abort it when third trimester, but, like, it's just, like, I don't know, you don't always make the right decisions. You don't always have a choice to make. Like, you know, there's rape victims that don't have a choice and they don't know they're pregnant until later on or anything. So yeah.
What do you think is, like, the nature in the parent-child relationship? Like, what obligations do parents have to children, and when do you think that those start?
I don't know. Maybe when, I don't know. That's a good question. Can you say something?
I mean, I believe that they start, like, as soon as, like, you're with the child, I guess, because you're gonna have to, like, there's stuff that you can't eat, there's stuff that you need to eat, and stuff to keep your baby healthy. So I believe it starts
for sure.
Right,
right away. That's true. Yeah. There's also different, like, I mean, different obligations when you're pregnant versus when the baby's born.
Yeah.
Like you said, like
yeah.
Yeah. So, like, I think that as a parent, my job is to provide for and take care of my kids, right? I have to make sacrifices for them and to do what needs to be done to make sure that they are taken care of. And I do believe that that begins when they're inside of, you know, my wife's womb, right? When we found out that we were pregnant with both of our boys, she was, told, obviously she can't smoke or do drugs, not that she does that anyways. There are things that you can't do, right? And so if it's wrong for a woman to drink or to smoke while she's pregnant, why is it okay for her to do that while she's pregnant?
Because it's like, like she doesn't want the baby, like, and adoption, like people argue adoption, right? There's not like that's not always an option. Like it's kind of a messed up system sometimes, and like foster care is like I
agree with that.
Yeah, definitely. So it's like
sure,
it's just hard, you know, like and it's definitely a difficult decision for most people to go through abortions when they're not planned for.
Yeah, sure. I mean, we don't live in a perfect world, right?
Right.
But I think that's where it comes back to what is the nature of the parent-child relationship, because I think that if I create a child, I have an obligation and a responsibility to take care of them. And so because I believe that they are human beings when they're inside of the woman's body, the scientific evidence is pretty clear. Then it just becomes, what are the differences, and do those differences justify killing other human beings? And I don't think that they do, because if they don't justify killing, if I can't do it to, you know, my 10-month-old, why can I do it while it's my 10-month-old is still inside of my wife's body, right? Like, when my wife was pregnant with my little boy, would it have been okay, or after the baby was born, would it have been okay for her to kill him for any reason that we justify it while it's inside of her womb? I can't think of any reason that would justify it.
That's why I said like third trimester is like different, because the baby is fully developed and is like it's different than the baby or that.
Sure.
Yeah.
When you say fully developed, though, like what does that mean to you? Because they're obviously not fully developed. Like we know that
right.
development continues throughout your cycle of life, right?
Like they have, this one doesn't have eyes really. But
the eyes are closed, but yeah.
Yeah, eyes are closed.
Yeah.
It's just different. Because that's not,
but like
that's not a full baby. Like, you can tell the difference by looking at that versus looking at a just born baby. That's not the same as a full grown baby. Like, just born baby.
Sure, it's smaller, right? It's less developed. But why does that justify killing it?
No, but like...
Sorry, we keep coming back to that question, but I think it is important. Like, why is that a reason that we can't kill it? Because, you know, again, with born humans, that's not a justification, right? Like, whoever is the biggest or the most developed doesn't get to, like, rule the world and kill other people, right? So why do we allow for it when it's inside of the woman's body?
Because it's like, it's just, it's hard to, because I'm not good at debating, I'm not good at explaining, but it's like, it's just, to me, it's just not, like, that's different. That's not a baby. That's, I mean, it's...
Sure, it is different, but that's exactly like the stage of development that it's supposed to be at that point, right? Like, we can't expect someone to be at another level.
I don't expect it to be at a different level, but it's just not the same as a newborn baby. That's just not the same.
No, yeah, definitely not. No, I'm not saying that it is, but I'm saying that the differences there don't justify killing someone, right?
But if that baby was born at 15 weeks, it's not surviving. So, but it's different in the third trimester. If the baby is born early, that baby has a higher chance of surviving, you know?
Sure.
Rather than 15 weeks and coming out and it's most likely not going to survive.
Yeah.
So,
but why does that really matter? Like, why does that really matter? Why does it make it okay for us to kill someone?
Because because it can't live on its own. So it's like, if it can't live on its own, then it's not really living, kind of thing. I'm trying to get to a point, but I can't really get to the point.
Well, I mean, it's maybe not living in the way that you and I would describe like normal everyday life, right? But it's meeting all the criteria that we have for living organisms at fertilization. So it's responding to stimuli, reproducing its own dying cells, maintaining homeostasis. It's obviously growing. So it's meeting all the criteria that we have for living organisms from fertilization. How it lives is different because its environment is different, right? It's in a place that it's designed to, breathe through the umbilical cord and receive nutrients that way and things like that. Ways that we don't do that, but it doesn't make it okay for us to kill them because of that, right?
I mean, we do it with older people too. I mean, when they're in the hospital bed and they're on ventilators and stuff, some people just, they kill them as well. I mean, they pull the plug, they do anything, and because they can't survive on their own. Like, that baby can't survive on its own.
Okay. But why is that? I mean, that is a different conversation of like whether or not that's moral. I think that, it's not okay for us to assist in someone's dying. Like I oppose assisted suicide, euthanasia, and things like that for the same reasons. So I think it ultimately comes down to like where you believe we get value as human beings. And if we don't agree on that, then I don't expect that we'll agree on, what the nature of abortion and euthanasia and stuff like that. For me, I would say that we get value, we have value because of the type of things that we are. So because we are human beings, we matter and have value in ways that animals don't, in ways that other beings do not. Ultimately, that's because I'm a Christian. And so I believe that the Bible is pretty clear that we are made in God's image, and therefore we have value because of that. And so if I know that it's wrong for us to kill born people, and I know that that's a human being that's inside of the woman's body, the differences that exist between an unborn child and a born child also exist amongst born human beings, right? The size, level of development, how dependent they are upon other people, right? Those are all things that exist among other born people. So the question then is just, how do I treat them? And I do think that human beings ought to be treated fairly and equally. And that doesn't mean that they have equal outcomes or that, I don't know, but that there are things that you ought not to do to them because they're human beings. And one of the things that I think we should never do to them is kill them. Without the right to live, we don't have any other rights, because that's the one that everything else is founded upon. We can't have rights to anything else if we don't have the right to be able to live. So all that to say, like, if we don't agree upon that basic principle, then we're probably not going to agree on abortion generally. But if I can ask, what do you think? Like, where do you think we get our value as human beings, and why is it wrong to kill a born human being?
So, a born human being value. What do you think? Like, our value?
I mean, I agree with that.
Okay. Well, I'm not. Yeah, but I'm not sure of like our value. Like, what is? That's a great. I don't know what our value is really. Like,
yeah, like
our value comes.
Maybe just a way to rephrase it is like, what makes it wrong for, us to go out and kill someone?
Mm-hmm.
And why do we hold people accountable when they've done that to other people in ways that we don't hold, animals accountable, or we don't hold them accountable for killing animals or things like that,
Well, I do think it goes back to what I said earlier, like that it's different, like the newborn baby is different than the first trimester baby. It's different than second trimester baby. I mean,
sure.
The first trimester, like, I don't even, like, it doesn't even, you can't tell that's a person. I mean, you could probably, you could tell that's going to be a person, but it's not, it just isn't the same to me. So, I don't know, but when a baby is born, and I mean, I keep going back to the third trimester, because I don't think it's right to abort
sure.
a baby in third
Yeah.
trimester. That's like fully developed, almost fully developed, but it's just different to me. Like, I don't know, just like, yeah.
Is it about like what it seems like it's about maybe what it looks like.
I'm trying not to like, make it what it looks like, but like, it's just, you know, like that's not a human. Like that doesn't.
Well, biologically it is, right? I mean, you in that picture, it's hard to see because you've got, that's what abortion does, is it tears them apart. And so that's why it is that way. And that's why this one's, you know, the way that it is as well, that the body has been torn apart because that's what abortion does to its body. So it's partly why it's unclear, but also that's also, you know, a younger human being, and that's what they're supposed to look like at that stage of development. I think anytime we base our value on things that we cannot control, it gets a little dangerous, right? Like when we look throughout human history, we see that when you make it about looking a certain way, whether it's, you know, with the Holocaust, having Jewish ethnicity, and Hitler trying to make a superior Aryan race, or here in the US, enslaving people who are black or treating them differently through Jim Crow laws and segregation and things like that. You know, throughout history, there's examples of that type of thing. And I think anytime we see that, we say that someone is a human being, but they're not a person, or they're a subhuman being, or they're considered less than. I think we do see inequalities that take place because we are dehumanizing them, right? And so I think that's a danger that we have here, that we live in a culture today that has told us that they're not human beings, that they're clumps of cells or blobs of tissues, or because they're different than us, it's okay for us to do that to them. I think that there is a danger that we slip into that as well and say, because they're different than us, we can do it. Just because we can do something doesn't automatically make it right, you know? And that's why I think the question of value is really important, that we have value because of the type of thing that we are, not about a function that we perform, not about like how we look. Because when we make it about those things, if you fail to, you know, look human, then we can, you know, kill you, right? That's maybe not what would actually happen, but that's the logical outworking of it, right? Or when we say, you know, you have to be able to live on your own through whatever means we deem as acceptable. What about people who are on ventilators or something like that? Excuse me. I don't know. What do you think about that?
I don't know. I can't like think of like, I don't know. I can't put it like logically. Like I know what I'm thinking, but I can't like put it logically. But I don't. It's just like I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, this is kind of off what we were talking about, but
It looks so.
they talk about circumstances that abortion could be valid. Someone I know was in an abusive relationship, and she got pregnant, and I mean, like she didn't want to have the kid because of concerns that the dad would come back, and but I mean, she ended up having it because it's against like our beliefs and stuff, and giving up her adoption. But again, like the adoption, like it's so like, I feel like it's so sketchy, like the adoption, it's messy and stuff. And I mean, even like after, like, I mean, he's 5 now, but it got out that she had the baby, and the dad ended up trying to come back and stuff, and it put like my family into like kind of like danger, because he was not a good person at all. And I mean, again, I still wouldn't have gotten an abortion for that, but I know my friend was thinking about it, because like, I mean, it's scary, especially because she was in high school too, so
I'm not saying that I don't understand why people get abortions, right? Like, I can understand reasons why they get abortions. I think that there's a lot of emotional reasons, especially, that like situations like that, that you can understand why people would want them. But when it comes to like what we ought to do, I think that's then different, and that, you know, your friend made the right decision in having that child, even though that's something that was really challenging. I think that's just part of the nature of living in a world where, in a fallen world with other, you know, people who do evil things and we ourselves do evil things and stuff like that, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that's part of the problem of just living within a fallen world. So I think ultimately, though, it does come back to that question of value, of where do we get our value from? And I think that's just the most essential question that we have to answer, in addition to, you know, what it is. I think the scientific evidence is pretty clear that it's a human being, that it's living, that it's growing, that it's meeting all these criteria for living organisms that we have. Obviously, it's human because the parents are human, right? So then I think it just does become a question of value, and why is it okay for us to kill some but not others? So
yeah, I don't like, just like, what if a 12-year-old got raped, you know? You know, she, her whole life is ahead of her, you know? I don't expect her to have to go through the adoption process at 12 years old because she got raped by some dude who, you know, it's an awful person, and I don't think she's mature enough to go through that. I don't think her parents should have to go through that, because that's not their, I mean, it's not, I mean, their baby is having a baby. Like, that's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that's part of, like, that is just part of living in a sinful world, right? People do things that hurt us, and our justice system does not and cannot make everything right, you know? I can try by providing restitution, but the 12-year-old girl who's been sexually abused is never going to get what life was like before that back, right? Like, that's something that she's going to remember for the rest of her life. Whether she gets pregnant or not, she's going to remember that for the rest of her life, and she's going to deal with the aftermath of that forever, right? I think it still goes back to the question of what it is inside of her. And so, again, my position being that it is a human being, it does have value because of the type of thing that it is. If I found out today that, you know, my 10-month-old wasn't mine, but was the product of sexual abuse, it wouldn't be okay for me to go home and kill him, right? And so, because I view them as being equal, both an unborn child and a born child, that's why that question, I think, is helpful for me, because it helps me to see that because I view them as being equal, they ought to be treated equally, and I should not kill one but not the other. And so while I know that the situation with a 12-year-old is really challenging emotionally, and we don't ever want a 12-year-old to go through that, I do understand that we live in a world in which that is the case sometimes, and it doesn't justify me killing a child because of that. That's probably not a satisfactory answer to you. And I don't think any answer that I would give would be satisfactory, okay, right? But that is just part of the difference that you and I have in worldview. That because of my view about the human person, that makes me believe that they are valuable. When I look around this campus, I have no idea how anyone was conceived, whether in an act of love or an act of violence, but I know that everyone here matters and has value because of the type of thing that they are. So that would be my response to that.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like, I mean, we're like best friends. We think of different things, like, you know,
two very different.
Yeah. So I mean, we can all, like, I mean, obviously live a life. Not like, I don't know what any of their views are. Like you said, you don't know how they were, like, but it's just, I don't know. I don't think that's. I don't think that's like not okay to do. So,
okay. Yeah.
I mean,
well, I appreciated you talking. What was your name?
Allie.
Allie, I'm Ian. Good to meet you. Thanks for stopping. What was your name?
Lily.
Lily. Good to meet you.
Good to meet you.
Thanks for stopping, guys. Bye.